Welcome, everybody, to episode 189 of the effing title. I am Big Husky, and this is not DeNutte.
Hi, my name is HauntedTheVagabond. I'm a good buddy of Husky, and it's good to be on here.
DeNutte this week, unfortunately, can be on. He is feeling under the weather, so I went out and I was like, I got a couple people I can talk to, right? One of which I'd already spoken to earlier in the week, literally last weekend. Literally was the weekend when he was like, "Hey, if you ever need someone on your podcast," he was Plan A. Plan B cost $50 after a cream pie. Plan C was haunted, and Plan D was I just do this by myself. So luckily, I don't need to worry about
C
Plan B.
gang,
So C it is.
C gang, rise up,
C gang. So, yep, as Haunted just said, Haunted is one of my good friends. I met through Charles, Coop, and all them. He is the more northern guy than me in the group. Um, which
Probably the most northern.
I was gonna say, out of all the people that I know, at least, yeah, I think you are the most northern. So. But yeah, so if you want, tell the people, the good viewers out there, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, like Husky, big football guy, massive football guy, and I grew up watching CFL, NFL, everything in between. And also kind of led me to play football for 4 years, but that didn't quite last nearly as long as I hoped. Didn't even get to play high school, but you get a couple head injuries, you decide, what, maybe I want my brain.
Yeah,
I kind of like
yeah,
that.
I kind of get that. I didn't go that route, but I understand it.
Yeah, yeah. I still got like some CTE like rattling around in here. I got like 5 CTE.
Yeah, I got level 5. I leveled up once or twice. I did a thing.
Yeah.
Got some new experience and unlocked a new twerk. Um, I now have this fun
Really
thing.
nice.
I now have this fun thing where I can walk into a room and just forget everything is happening. Yeah, sometimes you stand up too fast, the room goes black, and then the next thing you know, you're waking up. That's a fun one. Um,
Every day's a new experience.
exactly. So how was your week though, Haunted? How's your week been?
I've had a great week. I've actually been on vacation from my job as a radio DJ.
Oh,
That's what I do as a trade. Went to school for that, but yeah, took a week off because my sister was in town, and we were just kind of like hanging around here up in northern BC, and we went to a couple different places. Went to like this, basically a town that's like time locked in 1905.
oh,
It's called Barkerville. It's like well into the mountains and stuff. It's actually kind of a really nice drive into there. And we were supposed to go down and visit my cousin down in Revelstoke, which is kind of in the southern interior. But it's hella smoky out there. So
mm.
we decided, you know what? We'll catch you next time.
Oh, that's good to hear though.
Besides that,
I'm glad. I'm
yeah,
glad to hear that you.
besides,
I'm glad to hear that you finally got a week off because it feels like you never have fucking time off. It feels like you are always doing
oh yeah, no,
something. Whether
always working.
you're working, you're at like hockey games, you're doing wrestling stuff, you're streaming, you got your D&D, like you're always just guns fucking firing. So glad to hear that you got a week off though.
Absolutely.
Glad to hear you got a week off though. So there's been some things in the news world. I don't know if there's any big things that you've been seeing in the news world. I got a couple of things which are kind of fun.
Like I've been kind of like disconnecting myself from the whole world besides like watching a couple movies that just
Mm-hmm.
came out, like the TMNT, Mutant Mayhem, which great movie by the way. Really enjoyed that.
Okay. Awesome. Love that. Overwatch is now on Steam.
Yeah, yeah, it sure is.
Genuinely kind of a smart decision by Blizzard. However, how many is it up to now? Because I know it is overwhelmingly negative.
Over 9% of the 106 thousand user reviews of this game are positive. So yeah, overwhelmingly negative.
Yeah, it is the most negatively ranked game I think, in Steam history now. And the last thing I knew was that it was at 52,000. So the fact that now it's doubled that is incredible. There's people on there that are just giving it like 1 star, and they're like, "I'm just being part of the cause. Like I'm just here to join
That
in."
and also they're just like play TF2.
Yeah, which is getting a nice little resurgence. And it's so my thing that's funny with this, I think is funny is this. I've been playing season 6. I haven't played in the last I don't play most games on the weekends anymore. But when it came out on Thursday, I played it Thursday, Friday, and I genuinely was enjoying myself playing the game. Which, for me, with Overwatch, it's either I am having a okay time, or I want to spread my balls out and slap it on a cactus. Like, those are the two. It's just pure rage, or just I just want to give up on life. Like, it's one or the other. And
not much of it.
Yeah, no. And then this past week, though, I was actually having a good time. Like, it was actually fun for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's brand new season, new hero, new game mode, couple new maps. They've monkeyed around with it. Half the roster. They changed half the roster, ability-wise. Like, just kind of monkeying with numbers. So, they've done a lot of shit for this season. PvE that's not PvE, but it's PvE, but it's not PvE is in. Which...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's... So, the thing that with this is... And this is one of the things that people just... The outside world didn't really see, is that originally, the reason why everyone got so pissed off with PvE is the fact that they left the game in stall for 3 years, 4 years, however long it fucking was to make this game. The reason why was because PvE was taking too long, so they needed to focus on PvE. The PvE was supposed to be massively replayable. It was going to have skill trees. Characters were going to have unique moves depending on what you wanted them to do. I.e., one of them was Mei turning into a giant snowball and being able to roll through enemies. Her going...
Mercy had her full team heal.
Yeah.
Or full team res.
Yep. Reinhardt had his shatter, but instead of it being a straight line or like a cone in front of him, it was a circle. And depending on where you... And if you jumped from somewhere, it would be bigger. Genji's ultimate, instead of bringing his blade out and you having to actually, like, slice people, you could slice in the air and it would send, like, this, like, wave of energy out. So, like, it was, like, really cool. It made it kind of customizable and, like, you could do your own things. That's why people were so mad about PvE being dead. The PvE is still here, it's just, it's not that. It's literally what we used to have, just upgraded a little bit with more story added to it, and... It's a little bit longer now. So, I understand the hate. Especially considering that they put it behind paywall.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
It's really not. I mean, as someone who paid the big dollar one, because when I just did the math out, it made more sense monetarily. Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun being paywalled out of stuff that was supposed to be free and a part of the game. And the reason why there is a 2 next to the name. You know, so that's that. I thought that was just kind of funny. That it's just burning. Very smart decision putting it on Steam. Genuinely a smart decision. Because then you get more people out there that don't have the, what is it, BlizzNet? Is that the name of it? For PC.
Yeah,
Battle.net.
Battle.net?
It might be Battle.net. So, like, there's some people that don't even know that exists. So, the fact that they put it on Steam is kind of a smart move, because now more people can potentially play it. However, though, it's also having problems where I think I saw a streamer named Flats. He was looking at the top 500 rankings, and in Europe, ranks number 1 through, I think he said 180 is one person. Because the Steam version of it has broken the game, so you can actually have multiple different. So one person owns 180 ranks of the top 100 of the top 500.
Yeah, that's how that's supposed to work.
So it's like here's all this cool new stuff. Also, dumpster fire. I mean, what else do we expect from Blizzard at this point, right?
I expect less, and yet they somehow manage to overcome.
We are now
apathy.
After 5 years of radio silence, and then the game being the same game, just they removed they removed one of the characters and added that character to the 2. There we go. That's why there's a 2, is they removed that one person out on each team, 2, boom, and threw it up on the side of the logo. Other than that, we've been just lowered our expectations the last 5 years, and somehow still they're like, huh, that's impressive.
I didn't think you had it in yet.
Yeah. So, that's been one of the big kind of gaming ones right now. I feel like is that whole thing going on.
Yeah, unless like the only other thing that's really caught a lot of people's attention is Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes.
And that game rips.
Have you played it?
I've been watching my friends play it.
Okay.
It is just do you want to play D&D?
Yes.
You can now play you can play D&D through Baldur's Gate 3.
I saw one thing. I mean, I've been seeing it everywhere because, of course, there's that giant fire mommy that wants to fuck you. That it's like, I wish I could touch you, but I can't. Like that sort of thing. That's one of those things. Like, it's just all the different memes of like, I'm willing to be burnt to let that happen.
Love will find a way. I will freeze myself.
It's like
second-degree burns, first-degree burns.
It was one of those things. It's like I saw that. Someone's like, weird. It's almost like I don't have this fire resistance potion. Weird. Let's get it on. But yeah, I've been seeing a lot of stuff with that where I haven't played myself. I've seen people playing it. It looks fantastic. The main one that I saw was of course the giant fire mommy, and then a guy kicking a squirrel into a tree after rolling a nat 20, and the squirrel like explodes. I saw one today where a dude threw a child.
I love this game. So great.
So I not only does the game look fantastic, but like everything that's coming out about it is just like the memeiest of shit. Like I just said, kicking a squirrel into a tree and it exploding, throwing a child at a bear. Just like all of these different things. They have like 20, like the tree for like the characterization or the customization for it is incredible. It looks like there's cleric, paladin, then there's like subclasses on subclasses, and it's just fucking mind blowing. But the biggest thing that I love is the fact that the entire video game industry now is put on notice. Yeah.
This is the standard in a sense for AAA games, is that you gotta compete with that. That's what people like the quality. When you got quality.
Well, that's the thing is like in a lot of the interviews when they first were saying stuff, it's like so is there any like microtransactions or is there going to be anything added onto it? They were just kind of like, no. This is a video game. This is it. This is the game. If we add stuff to it, you can earn it through the game. Otherwise, this is it. You buy it, you play it. We're not doing any of that other shit. And immediately, as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, there's going to be so many companies that are going to be so fucking mad at them for saying that. And it's going to be so funny. Because, I mean, it's true, though.
Yeah.
They straight up said, we feel like if we released a product where there's microtransactions, DLCs, seasonal updates that you have to pay for, we didn't release a full game. We released half of a game. And I agree.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's one that, I mean, like I said earlier, you play D&D. I do not play D&D. I, after seeing a bunch of this stuff, has thought, maybe I should buy Baldur's Gate 3. Because it genuinely just looks like a fucking chaotic time. I kind of don't want to, because my list of games I need to buy, or want to buy, is already too long right now for AAA titles. So, I mean, for me personally, I got Madden this upcoming week.
Oh boy, yeah. The Return.
Then I have Assassin's Creed coming down the line. Which is actually interesting because the main base game for it is not 70.
Really?
Yes, there's two versions. There's the main game and then there's like a game with like a seasonal pass thing. The main game is like 45, 50. And I was like, I saw that and immediately I was like, why? I'm still buying that version because I don't want to spend any more money after the $120 Valhalla purchase I did. Yeah. Yeah, no. And then the final one that I'm going to wait for to see how it looks, but if it looks as good as I think it will, I'm going to buy it, is the Avatar game. Not like avatars in like water or fire. I mean like avatars in like Dancing with Smurfs.
Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jake Sully. Because as I watched the trailer was like, I was like, okay, this looks fine. This looks like whatever. And then immediately the dude's flying on one of the fucking like things. I was like, I'm in. I'm in. Let me fly on that
Yeah,
bitch.
that's kind of cool. You know what? I actually remember playing the multiplayer demo for the original Avatar game
Oh,
way
really?
back in the day. I remember playing a bunch of that with some dudes back in the day. I don't know why, but like it was surprisingly like in depth,
That's awesome.
especially for a movie tie-in game.
Yeah.
That was kind of
So
crazy.
sometimes the movie tie-in games were funny because like it would be the exact fucking movie, other than like two levels. They're like they randomly made up, and they sucked every time.
Yeah.
Final thing to talk about before we get into the meat and potatoes of everything that I think is an interesting one, because I'd love to see what you think. The whole Snow White Disney situation that's going on right now.
Oh yeah.
Little controversial topic to throw in here right now. But the funny thing is though is that I've yet to see anyone defend was it Rachel? I can't even remember her last name. It's Rachel something that I want to say. But I don't. I genuinely haven't seen many people. I'll word it like that as well. Rachel Zegler. I haven't seen a whole lot of people actually defending her comments. So maybe it's not as controversial take as I think it is.
I mean, at the end of the day, I could like care less about anything that Disney is doing right now. Like,
Fair.
I'm so like out of it right now.
Mm-hmm.
I've just fully been like disillusioned. I think is the right word. I think it's like a combination of just burnout from Marvel, and then just like I've watched a couple of these live action movies that were just like the full on like 1-to-1 remake of some of the
It's
animated properties, and it's just like no, I just don't feel it.
well,
I'm just not feeling
what
it.
I've said before. I think that what they did was in theory smart, right? In theory, it's smart because you think about like let's say Lion King for instance, right? Lion King came out when we were kids, maybe even before we
Yep.
were kids, right? Now you release it 30 years later. Well, most I'm going to say it like that as well. Most 30-year-olds like our age probably have kids, family, right?
Mhm.
Here's the live action version. It's a whole new generation now. Because now we
Yep.
have the nostalgia of it. Because shit, we saw this when we were kids, and this is every single kid on the planet. What's your Disney movie? Every single kid,
Well,
every single
yeah,
person on the planet can answer that fucking question.
everyone,
That's the one
everyone's
question that
got one.
everyone can answer, right? So it makes it like it, on paper, it makes beautiful sense, right? One
Yeah,
generation started it. We wait till that generation starts to have their own children. Then we reintroduce it again,
you know,
and they're gonna do it again in 30 years. It's just gonna be with
yeah.
actual like real lions that can actually talk because fucking science and
We've
Disney.
gotten to that point.
Yeah,
Yeah, Winston is over there.
yeah, exactly. Winton. Um,
Winston.
Winton. See, I know I agree though. I think that the burnout with this is massive. I see this everywhere on TikTok. And it's amazing to see someone that is a brand new actress, really, right? She really hasn't been in a whole lot. West Side Story, Shazam: Fury of the Gods. She's gonna be in Hunger Games, the Hunger Games prequel, right? And when she was interviewed about Shazam: Fury of the Gods, did you hear her answer?
I did not.
She was asked, so what brought you onto the project? Like, what made you want to be in like a superhero movie? I needed a job. I needed the
You know
money.
what? That's real.
And I've seen
That's
that
a
like
real
when
answer.
I
I respect that.
when I saw that I was like, all right, fair. You know, like that's great. That's actually a really good answer. In the comic community, it might not be the best of answers. However, though, that's a great fucking answer. And now she's coming out and it's like, oh well, that. Did you watch the original one? That was made for like 1937. It's like yes, that's because that's when it was out. Like
That's when it was made.
and it's like what, it's Snow. It's I think they're renaming it Snow White and the Seven Bandits or some seven magical creatures or it's something like that. They don't. Let's put it like this. They don't have dwarfs, but there's one dwarf character. There's one little person in it.
It's just says here on the Wikipedia, it's just being called Snow White.
Oh wow. Intriguing.
So I guess
yeah,
no real mention of
so yeah,
what the huntsmen
well,
are.
that's the thing is like if you scroll down, it literally says Seven Dwarfs controversy, and there's a whole thing behind it.
Yeah, I'm just
I guess
I
my thing is just like it's like yes here in July 2023 footage of the production from Berkshire revealed that the depiction of the seven dwarfs has been reimagined in the film, consisting of only one actor with dwarfism along with six other non-dwarf actors, varying ethnicities, six males, one female, portraying all portrayed as supernatural beings from German folklore, not actual human beings.
So it's more based on the Brothers Grimm fairy tale.
Yes. And then certain people have been coming out.
Okay.
Certain other, like the Jackass Wee Man, he came out recently. Was and has vocally expressed his disappointment in the changes, saying that it's already tough enough for actors with dwarfism to get roles. Now you're taking one that is a historically known role for them, and you are removing it.
Yeah, I definitely see the point. I definitely understand
I
like
just,
the sentiment
I,
of a lot of actors who have dwarfism, and a lot of time the roles that they can get is mostly like comedy roles.
mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that this is going to be like a huge break, but like this could have been kind of a watershed moment for
Yeah.
that. But
Well, it's the same thing
instead
with.
they took a different route.
It's the same thing with to the same extent because he even said he's like say one of because I saw an interview with it at one point where he's like same extent, but I'm not gonna be too upset that I don't get the role for this. But it was like the same thing with the new Wonka movie. Instead, we have Hugh Grant. I'm pretty sure it is as an Oompa Loompa, just like his face.
Yeah.
And, it was like he's like like I said, the guy was like, mind you, I don't really care that we don't get the role for this because but at the same time, it's one of those things. And that's my thing is that, like, if you're going to change this much about it, make it a new fucking character.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's like, that's always been my thing with it. It's like, it's like, imagine if they made Spider-Man, but he's actually Man-Spider. But you call him, but you call him Spider-Man the entire time.
Well, he is a spider and a man.
Okay, so imagine Spider-Man, but it's actually a grasshopper. But we're calling it Spider-Man. But it's a grasshopper.
Okay, maybe that's more of a problem. He can jump really high, though.
That's it. It's just he jumps really high, and then he just flies down. He's going up against, let's see, Green Goblins. He's going up against the Green Werewolf. But like that's my thing is that it's like with something especially like that, like a Disney mainstay, just leave it the fuck alone and just do something else, or like just give it to some like what would have been the major difference if they just made it a different title, new characters, this and that. What's the main thing that they would have like dealt with, problem wise?
And the fact that no one would know what it is because they're not familiar with it.
Exactly, which in some points is a great thing.
Yeah, fresh idea, new stuff. It's great. I love original ideas.
This is the newest Disney princess, and she wants to be a leader. And look at her friends. Get rid of a couple of them, so it's not 7. But here's her friends. Like Gal Gadot's the villain in this. Like.
I mean, she's kind of the villain in real life too.
So I mean, but like a bunch of the other things, like it's like, oh yeah, no, we don't want a man saving us. We don't want a prince saving us. No, we don't need that. This isn't about love. This is about me becoming a leader. That's the things that she's said, and then it's like, then this isn't Snow White.
I mean, I'm kind of as a dude who is Ace, I'm kind of into that, but I get the sentiment,
right? Like that's my thing. So. But that's kind of the weekly nerdy geek stuff that I can think of. So now to the manly stuff. The manly stuff. The footballs. But not the American footballs.
before we even dive into that, I
Mm-hmm.
just saw this come up from EA Sports NHL. They're going to be revealing who's going to be on the cover tomorrow of
Ooh, for the new
NHL
show.
20.
Nice. I
So,
don't know any of the players really. So is Tim Thomas still playing?
no, that guy's been gone for like a decade now.
Bergeron. There's another one that I remember.
He just retired.
I am out of people now. I give
It,
up.
it's funny actually. Bergeron was on I think NHL 13. That seems right.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's literally that's all I got. You know what? It would be kind of cool. Is there a CFL video game? Have you guys
So the
sneak? Have you,
closest we
I
got,
was gonna say, have you guys sneakily just been having it up there without telling anyone?
not really. The closest we have is a game I actually have. It's called Canadian Football 2017. It was made by like a solo dev,
Oh, okay. just
and
the wording of the title. It's like oh, it's one of the oh okay.
legally distinct. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could mod this thing to just have all the proper like teams and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a little jank. It's kind of like you took Madden 98 or
Oh
something.
god.
Like Madden 01, but it definitely doesn't play like Madden 01.
Madden
It's like,
01, but it for some reason there's Pong characters. Why do I have the? Why is this thing moving? Why is Pac-Man on my screen?
yeah, you gotta throw a strike to Mega Man over there, and he's gonna run in for a touchdown. And it's like
That's
this is
funny.
the greatest game ever made.
All right, so CFL, Canadian football. That is the topic of today because I played college football. I coach college football. I coach high school football. I know high school. I know college. I know pro football. I don't know a whole lot about CFL. One of the surprising ones I don't know. I actually probably would argue I know more about the Elf League, the European League of Football, than I do the CFL. That's also because dude, as soon as I heard one of the announcers say, yeah, and this weekend Elf, I was like,
They got it.
oh, dude, it's so bad. It's so bad. Like I watch CFL highlights weekly. The Elf League is so fucking bad. I watched a dude I watched a wide receiver burn a DB by 15 yards, and the quarterback couldn't get him the ball.
Oh,
I'm in the gym in the morning, fucking about to throw my phone, yelling and screaming at this team that I have no idea who they are, no idea who any of the players are, don't understand what's happening, other than the fact that this dude just had to full stop, turn, and run back towards the offense because he needed to try and get the ball. I'm sitting there just like, oh no.
oh man, that reminds me of when I went to a football camp and I was at receiver. I burned a dude. I just turned on the Jets on a go route, and the QB threw it behind me by like 10 yards.
Oh.
I'm like, come on, man, get some arm strength.
Some arm strength. And not add Glitch Energy. The newest flavor. Wildberry Breeze. There's like 7 different things. There's like Breeze, Freeze, Squeeze. I always forget which one it is. This is Breeze. This is the newest one. It tastes like Smarties. Not like chocolate Smarties. Not like chocolate Smarties. Like chalk candy for you.
Like, okay.
Yeah, like the necklace chalk candy. Imagine that liquefied. That's what this tastes like. It's delicious.
That would be pretty good.
It's delicious. And good news for you now. I know you're more of a gamer subs guy, but good news for you. Glitch ships to Canada. Official.
Finally, I
Officially.
can support the brand.
Yep. So, there's some things coming down the pipe I can't fully talk about. But anyway, Glitch Energy, use code Big Husky for 10% off at checkout.
10%.
The perfect 10. I fucking missed Ty Dillinger. Anyway, CFL.
I also miss him.
As you can see from the glorious jersey the Haunted is wearing, he is a fan of Montreal Alouettes.
Not really. No, not exactly. But they did put the beat down on my boys
Was that the
last
team?
night.
Oh, I got it right. Okay. Yeah. So I have the CFO site up, and I saw that they got beat, but I didn't see who it was, so I was just taking a wild guess. And the only other team that was coming to my head was Toronto, but I couldn't remember the actual name of their mascot. So that was why I went with I went with the Alouettes. I know the Alouettes, but I don't know. I can't remember the Argonauts. Now that I just look at it, like shocking.
Yeah.
So
The
CFL.
mascot is also Jason, by the way.
Ah.
Yeah, it's kind of sick.
That is sick, actually. Jesus, I didn't know that. So CFL, Canadian Football League. Main difference, really, 12 people, right? That's probably the big
Oh
main
man,
one. 12-man football. Um,
the
how?
12th man is on the field.
Yes, the 12th man is on the field, not the entire stadium or the cheater. How many people can be moving on offense pre-snap? Is it
Okay,
unlimited
so
or?
it is unlimited motion.
Okay, so that's the big one because like I saw one last night from. I've now decided that I'm a BC Lions fan.
Fair.
One of the ones that I saw last night was people running at the line of scrimmage. One guy running an orbit motion this way, and one guy motioning in front of the quarterback all at the snap of the ball. And literally, it was a counter, reverse, triple, maybe quad option. It looks like. Where I mean, he gave it off immediately, but like watching his eyes and seeing kind of the distance between people, I'm sitting there like, this is some fucking weird bastardized like triple option that I'm seeing right now, and I am all for it. It is absolutely insane. The first time as an American football fan viewer, right, watching CFL, as soon as you see your first offensive play, it's mind boggling because there's just people moving all over the fucking place.
Yeah, that's how it is. So now you also have to think about just how hard you have to work as a defensive back.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, if you're a field corner, like, there still has to be X amount of guys on the line of scrimmage. But those halfbacks or safeties, they're running all over the place. Your dime linebacker, they got to be
I
covering guys as well.
There was one. I think his name is Thatcher for BC. He just ran a vert. He just pre-snap had a 20-yard head start towards the line of scrimmage, and then just kept fucking running, and Vern just threw it to him. I'm just kind of sitting there like, that's just fucking unfair. Like you can't jam a dude that's just run 20 yards at you because you're gonna get run over. So you got to try to then suddenly like start pre-warming up yourself to turning. He's already at top speed now. I was just sitting there like, this is fucking unfair. At the same time, I loved it because it was my team, but like I'm sitting there like, Jesus, this is just damn.
So it's all the more impressive when you actually like see how good these DBs are and how
Mm.
hard they have to work. Like like what you're seeing, all that motion, especially from the slot receivers, that's called the waggle. So when you're like kind of moving around back there and you're moving in motion, and you just get that full sprint off. The DB, I used to play I played as DB for a season, so I had to make sure like I was watching who was moving, who's going to be my guy in the zone.
Mm.
So you see a lot more zone coverage because like I can't keep up
Yeah,
with
I
these
can. I was
guys
gonna
on
say
man all the
I can
time.
only imagine how athletic you would have to be to one, how athletic your team would have to be, but two, the type of coachable mindset that you have to be like, we're fucking running man. What are we doing? We're running fucking man. We're gonna die by man. We're gonna live and die by man. I couldn't fucking imagine it because, like, yeah, like I said, you see some of these guys and it's like, you guys just switching in the backfield and like, I could only imagine being a DB and like watching that and just running into one of your fucking teammates. And it's like, oh, cool. Now there's two guys wide open. Just fucking, yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Zone makes so much more sense, and it also makes sense when you watch because you see there's a lot of gaps, but it makes sense why there's the gaps because of all the motion as well. Kind of can easily make people go, oh shit, I gotta go here now, and that's like, fuck. Well, now I just left that open.
Mm, exactly. Yeah. So that also means like your linebackers have to be like they have to be on top of things especially watching when the running back goes into motion. You're just like, well, there's another one.
That's like you were saying with it still has to be people on the line of scrimmage. Literally seeing a guy on the line of scrimmage, like he is on. He's the guy. He's pointed to the ref, and then like right before the snap, you just see him turn and just run down the line of scrimmage at the end. I'm just sitting there like. I don't know if that's legal or not, but I'm just going to watch and see what happens because this is kind of interesting. And then just watching him just full on just blindside at the end as they do a little like toss play. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. But yeah, no, it just absolutely insane. But then also, flip side of it, there's 12 people on defense. And one of the things I didn't notice was there was especially, it might just be a BC thing because I mainly just look at the BC highlights. BC brings it a lot. And I don't know if that is a full thing across the CFL, if a lot of teams bring pressure. But I know BC does a lot, and it kind of makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah, so BC is one of those teams. They have some really athletic guys on their D line, like especially Matthew Bitts. He's currently leading the league with 10 sacks right now, and he's kind of a monster right there, coming off the edge. So when you have a guy like that, a lot of times you're gonna have to double team him, or like move the guard over, or have a receiver come and crack him. So there's all kinds of stuff that you have to deal with, and usually if you have a really good defensive end, that means that's gonna put all that focus on that guy, and that leaves everyone else to kind of go one-on-one.
Yeah. Because it was kind of one of those things where it's like I started noticing like BC doing it more, and I'm sitting there and like it kind of like it made sense to me purely for the fact of offense always kind of has an advantage because offense depending on what's mindset you think of. Offense to me normally always has the what's the word I'm looking for here?
Initiative. They have the initiative.
Because we know what we're doing. This is the play we're running. Defense kind of just gets to free flow though, because it's just like this is I don't give a fuck what they're doing. This is what I'm doing, right? So with offense, with seeing all this motion and all this stuff going on, it's easy to say that some of it is distraction. Because you get your eyes turned just for one split second, boom, now you're a step behind, and that dude just torched you over the middle.
Yeah.
Now with defense, and to me it makes sense in the CFL to blitz a lot more, simply because if they're going to be doing all this misdirection stuff, or if they're going to do all this motion stuff, all right, we're just going to bring pressure because we're going to make you have to find that guy and find that spot really quickly with all this added pressure. And especially with there being 12 guys, that means now you have to redo your blocking schemes because now it's not just like, okay, they're going to only bring this. Nah, we can bring a lot of people now, you know. At least, so that was one of the things that I noticed anyway. And like I said, it could just be a BC thing. It could just be BC's defense just brings it. But after I started thinking about it a little bit more, it felt like it made sense anyway.
Yeah, probably the best example of what you're talking about isn't just BC; it's Winnipeg. The Bombers, their defensive coordinator Richie Hall. He used to be a legend on the Riders. Actually, he was their defensive coordinator for a long time. Then he switched over to Winnipeg.
How dare he?
Goddamn enemy.
Yep.
And his defense is we bring the heat, and they have had the blessing of having some really good defensive linemen, some really good linebackers, and an incredibly talented backfield. So your DBs and everyone, it's they just have the perfect defense, and it really helps the fact that he lets his linebackers freelance.
Yep.
Most of the time, so they can rush, they can drop back into coverage, they can do whatever they want essentially. Like he lets them just kind of have free reign in terms of the schemes. So it's led to them being either they lead in sacks, they lead in pressures, they lead in interceptions. They make sure that the offense that they face is as uncomfortable as possible.
Which I think, like I said, I think it makes sense with more of with being able to move so many guys. It makes sense. At least to me, it makes sense. I recently turned on I think it was actually I turned on a game because I suddenly found free games. They're not free on YouTube. And I was like, I ain't doing a whole lot right now. Let's put this on. And I think it was 7-1. Please explain.
Yep.
Because I saw that and I just went. I mean, I was like, you can't do that. You can't do that. So
the Rouge is a holdover from the rugby days.
okay.
There's a lot of rugby stuff you can do in the CFL. You can do onside kicks, like you can throw a receiver the ball and then have him just boot it down all the way down the sideline. And as long as you have someone onside, if someone is onside right behind him, they can go get that ball.
Okay.
And the Rouge,
okay, so the Rouge.
that happens if the ball goes through the end zone, but say on a field goal. If you miss a field goal, but it goes through the end zone and it's not brought out, you can concede a point, or if it goes through the back of the end zone, that's a point.
Oh, okay. That's the thing. End zones in the CFL are 20 yards, correct?
Yes, I believe it's 20.
It's 20,
20 or 25.
but the other main difference is that the goalpost isn't like in the NFL where it's in the back of the end zone. Nah, this bitch is at the very front of the end zone.
Right up front. So that actually adds a whole element to this, because if the ball hits the uprights, if you're like throwing the ball and it hits the uprights, that's a dead ball.
Okay.
But a lot of times you will see teams run like a slant or like a cross or like a dig right towards it, and a good receiver can make it so that DB is running right into that thing.
That's wild. It looked like it was almost like a drag, but it could have been a little bit deeper. It could have been, God, I'm forgetting the name of the word now. It wasn't a slant, but almost like a crosser. There we go. It was almost like a crosser route, and it was like right behind the end, right behind the goalpost. It looked like, and Vernon Adams just beams it, and it looked like when he beamed it right past the side like this. So it was one of those things where it's like his receiver is looking, and it's like goalpost, and oh, the ball's now coming. DB had no clue, like that sort of thing. Like it was just, I'm sitting there like, Jesus, all right. There's a couple other rules or major changes and differences. What, the field is a little bit wider, I think, as well.
Yeah, it is 65 yards wide and 110 yards long.
Yeah, so it is long. So there's a true 50-yard line.
There's a meeting in the middle.
And then it's wider. There's something with downs, right? Is that another thing I remember?
Yeah, it's 3 downs instead of 4.
That's fucking wild. That one I did actually. I knew there was something with it, but I didn't know that it was just that there's 3, like just 3. That's that.
Yeah,
there's so much that it's one of those things. Like people at home might just be sitting there, like if you've gotten to this point, you might just be sitting there like, oh, you know what, like these are just whatever, you know, like they're not that big of changes. No. These are kind of massive changes. Having a wider field allows you to do more stuff. The longer field makes it so it's a little bit more difficult, but also it adds a little bit of an element of like you can actually like do certain plays at certain points that you normally can't. The end zone being as deep as it is just absolutely absurd. First of all, for me personally, I think. And then it's like, yeah, now you only have 3 downs. All right, yeah, that changes the entire play calling, because now you can't just have first down. Be like, oh, first down's only 1 yard. Nah, no big deal. I got 2. I got 2 other downs.
You're so aggressive. You have to play so aggressive, and it's a thing that actually it's been brought up recently. Is that a lot of teams need to start utilizing check downs more. Because they're constantly going for like 15 plus yards on like every throw, and then suddenly they're 2 and out all the time.
Yeah.
But if you go for more of a check down, just let your receiver work.
Yeah.
Let him work and get those yards.
Yeah, I mean as we just saw in the preseason game, Justin Fields just did that. He had he was I think he was 3 for 3 for 152 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the ball traveled a total of -7 yards.
Yeah. Let the receiver work.
Yeah, just let everyone else do the work. You get all the stats, and they just they do their thing. Um, but so this is the other thing. In the NFL, there's 32 teams. In the USFL, there's 8. In the XFL, there's 8. In the CFL, there's 8. Or am I
One,
wrong
two,
about
three,
that?
four. There's 9 teams
9? Okay.
working on. They're working on a 10th at some point.
Oh, interesting.
So that has been actually before we go even into that. There's one more thing that makes the CFL a little bit more different, and it's that the play clock
Mm-hmm.
is 25 seconds instead of 45.
Oh, okay.
So you have to get if there's still a minute left in the game, teams aren't out there and they're shaking hands. No, you're playing until the last whistle.
That's awesome.
Almost every game.
Just
So it makes it so much more exciting.
that's wild. I did see one recently. I forgot. I think it was maybe one of the BC blowouts they had within the last couple weeks, where the other team was just taking a knee. They were like, yeah, no, it's okay. We'll end this. We'll get this over with. Don't worry. I'm just kind of sitting there and I'm
Yeah.
watching that and I'm just like, I could never imagine being the opposing team losing and us being like, yeah, let's take a knee. I could never imagine being in that position.
It's brutal.
But all right, so as teams, we have the BC Lions, the Edmonton Elks, the greatest team in history, the Calgary Stampeders,
History.
the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Hamilton Tiger Cats, Toronto Argonauts, Ottawa Red Blacks, and the Montreal Alouettes. And then you said there's a 10th team in the works.
Okay, so for probably the last 40 odd years, there has been an effort to bring the CFL to the Atlantic, the Maritimes. That being, get them in one of the few cities out there, hopefully in Halifax. And it's always had a name. It's been the Atlantic Schooners. And they've had a logo and all that stuff. But the thing is, they've never had a proper owner or really a stadium to be built that could properly house a team out there.
Oh, okay.
So that has been the longtime challenge since the 80s is getting this team off the ground. That's how long this has been a conservative effort to bring a team out there since 85, I think.
That's absolutely insane. That's cool,
And,
but that's just insane that it's been going that long. Name everything.
And there was also a point where there was the expansion into the United States with several teams in Baltimore, Memphis, Sacramento, San Antonio, Birmingham, all these different places. It only lasted 2 years, and shockingly, there was only one good team. That was the Baltimore Stallions.
Shocker.
Right before the Ravens finally, well, the Ravens stealing the Browns and saying, "All right, they're not our team."
Hey, we had our team stolen. It's only fair.
It is only fair. It was only fair, and the Browns have suffered ever since.
Yeah.
But before the Ravens showed up, it was kind of Stallion Town for 2 years. And they won a Grey Cup. They went to 2 Grey Cups back to back. Lost one, won one. So they're the only American team to ever win the Grey Cup. So
that's kind of a wild.
Your
statistic.
area, they can hang their hat on that.
Yeah, that's kind of awesome.
But
yeah, it's been fun as an American football fan. It's been fun watching bits and pieces of CFL stuff. Because it is just so
great.
It's just so drastically different, and it's just one of those things. What week are we in for the CFL? It is what week?
I believe it is week 10. We are currently in week 10.
So this is the way that I think about it, and this is the way that for everyone out there, this is literally the way that I've been thinking about it. The NFL season goes for the NFL season. The XFL season started the week after the Super Bowl. Towards the end of the XFL season is when the USFL season started, and then right in the middle of the USFL season is when the CFL started, and we're in week 10. How many weeks are there in the CFL?
Each team plays 18 games, so we have 21 weeks.
Damn, that's a long ass fucking season. Shit.
I know.
So like that's the thing. Like we're having week 1 of preseason for the NFL now. So it is kind of crazy that you can like if you really tried, and it's not even really trying, but if you just paid attention, you can have football literally all year round.
Yeah,
Depending on which,
yeah, that's
depending on
all
where
I've
it
been
is,
saying.
and like it's been beautiful because it's been fun because like I got Rob into the XFL, and me and Rob got in the XFL. Rob hated it first, and then he kind of like grew a little bit to it's like okay, it's still not the best of football, but it's football nonetheless. And then he watched a couple USFL games, and he was like, okay, it's about the same as the XFL, just I'm watching the playoffs and the championships. It's the best teams playing. And now we've kind of slowly started getting into the CFL and just kind of watching this sort of stuff and seeing all the crazy shit that we can do with this. And it's so wild. I mean, I love it. It's been like I said, it's been a lot of fun. I picked BC because of a friend of mine. I was like, who are you a fan of? Because she's a fellow Canadian. I was like, who are you a fan of? And she's like, well, my family supports BC. I was like, oh, well, there we go then. Boom. And then I went and looked at their roster, and I was like, hey, I actually like a lot of these. There's actually a decent amount of players here that I know of, so awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
it also helps that their unis and everything is just badass.
oh, they're looking so good now. It's really funny. They went from the best jerseys in the league to some even better jerseys.
That's just like, I love that. Eventually here, I'm going to buy some like a shirt or something. I think I gotta.
What we really gotta do is get you up here for a game at BC Place.
That would be insane. Considering I've yet to go to an NFL game, it'd be insane to go to a CFL game. I've been to 2 collegiate games. I went to Cincinnati at UConn. I was hammered the entire time.
Nice.
Got a really nice hoodie out of it. And then the other one that I went to was with Rob and Jeff. We went to see Boston College play Syracuse in the Dome. And
man, that's so cool.
So that game was back when I want to say it was AJ Dillon, but I feel like I'm wrong with that name. It was one of their big power backs that they had at one point. The last play of the game, Syracuse was trying to do like the Hail Mary, just kind of panic, throw it back, toss it, do one of those sort of things. Holy roller sort of plays. And the linebackers saw it coming, so they tossed it back. The guy caught it, and he got hit. And that is the loudest. We were in the very tip top of the dome. This is the loudest hit I've heard in my entire life. It hit, we heard it, it reverberated up to the rafters, back down to the field, and back again. Most insane thing ever. And then, of course, the best part about the whole thing, though, was as we were leaving, we were going through one of the student centers, and there was a TV on playing the Alabama, I want to say it may have been Mississippi game. And no, it wasn't Mississippi. It was, oh God, who was it now? Whoever it was, they returned a 109-yard field goal for a touchdown to win the game.
Oh, that might have been the Iron Bowl. Man.
Yep.
That might have been
Yes, it was. It was Auburn, and I just remember we were all walking, and then suddenly Rob's not with us, and that's because Rob is just now defeated watching the TV and watch this happen because he's a Bama fan, and it was one of those things where it's just like oh Rob, come here, let's just hug it out, come on, it was one of those things like Jesus Christ, but those are the only 2 actual events for football that I've actually ever been to, so.
Really?
Yep.
I'm almost surprised by that.
Yep.
I thought you at least got to see an NFL game by now.
No, there's been a couple times where I've wanted to. I almost went to go see. What was it? I want to say it may have been. It was either Miami in New England or Baltimore in New England. One of my buddies was going to come grab me, and we were going to go to it. But certain things came up, and I had to cancel it, sort of thing. But. Yeah. So, but it's one of those things. I would love to go see it. I would love to be able to in one calendar year be yes, I saw a Ravens game, an XFL, USFL, and then CFL. I think that'd be freaking awesome. And also throwing a college football game in there. I think that'd be great.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's actually kind of funny. Me and my dad have been talking about doing this for a long time. This like kind of Texas road trip where we
Mm.
would see a high school game, a college game, and an NFL game.
Oh,
I mean, why not Texas? I mean,
yeah.
that's the mecca of of football.
I mean,
So
and you could.
we're trying to pick out a spot.
I was gonna say you could, especially with the teams there, you could easily do it. It's just figuring out which ones and what do you want. Who do you want to see? You know, like that sort of thing. Like, do
Yeah,
you want to see A&M or do you want to see Texas, or do you want to see the Horny Toads? Do you want to see North Texas Mean Green?
yeah.
University of Texas,
Houston.
University of Texas, San Antonio Roadrunners, right? Like there's so many. I love
You
it.
want to see the El Paso Miners?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Oh yeah. How could I forget about the Miners? Um, I'm excited for college football to start back up, and that is starting up within the next
Yeah.
2 weeks. I think I'm gonna actually look right now because me and Rob were always massive. Well, so Rob still is a massive college football fan. He likes college more than pro. I also like college more than pro, but when I started streaming, I kind of Saturdays were days when I used to stream. Surprising.
Yeah.
So I never. So for the last couple of years, I haven't been watching college football, and now, after the request of some friends, that I actually start taking some breaks, and me kind of burning myself out a little bit, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll start taking like the weekends. So now this year, I'm going to be the most annoying motherfucker on the face of the earth because I'm just going to be doing nothing but watching college football and pro football every single fucking day. And with the new Madden coming out and me doing the new franchise. Because if it is the same as the beta, I do not need to wait a full fucking season to relocate my team.
Oh, finally.
Which means I can relocate immediately. And like if it's the same as the beta, the way that they're doing it this year is instead of you relocating to a place, then you get 3 options. There's 32 different places you can relocate to, and 32 different options for team logos and mascots.
Well, that's pretty darn good.
Like, I can move to Japan. I can put an NFL team in Japan. I can put an NFL team in France, Australia, Alaska. I think is on there now too. I'm obviously already. I'm moving my team to Nebraska. I'm bringing the Nebraska Huskies to the NFL. Like it's happening.
Straight out of Lincoln.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're just gonna be about defense and just fucking shit up. So I'm excited to do that. Like I said, because I just want an expansion mode in Madden. That's my biggest thing. I've said it for fucking years. I just want an expansion mode because I think that'd be the coolest fucking thing. You're a brand new owner. You get to build your franchise up from the ground up, build your entire history, like that sort of thing. I was like, that'd be the coolest freaking thing. So now that I have the CFL added in, yeah, this is gonna be a fun NFL, NCAA football, Madden, CFL, rest of the year. I think the Elf League may have ended. I don't know. I haven't watched an Elf game in a little bit.
Yeah,
But,
just make sure you have November 19th carved out because that's when the Grey Cup is.
let's be
It's
honest.
going to be an interesting one this year.
My team ain't gonna be in that. Like, let's be honest here.
I don't know. There's
No,
a good chance
it
might be a BC Toronto thing.
No, we gotta. I mean, we gotta beat Winnipeg, and then we also gotta keep you guys off. No, wait. Oh, so okay. I was looking at games played, and I was like, God damn, there's a lot of 9-win teams.
So the thing is, right now the CFL has a problem.
Oh,
The problem is everyone's quarterback is getting fucking hurt. Everyone is on their second string quarterback.
I was going to ask you about that because, I think it's Evans. I think that's the name of BC's backup. He was playing a game or two ago, and I'm sitting there, and I was like, I don't know much about this, but I don't think Vernon was doing that bad. Yeah, he does. Yeah, see, the guy that was in, I don't even see on their
Dane
roster
Evans.
anymore.
No, Dane Evans is still there. They actually
he's on the one game
kind of
injured list.
intentionally. Yeah, they kind of intentionally brought him in. They traded for him because of the current state of things. That is, a lot of quarterbacks are getting hurt, and they're getting hurt a lot consistently. So if you don't have a backup who's reliable, you're kind of screwed. And sometimes it's not even just like quarterbacks are getting hurt. Like with Edmonton's problem is that the quarterback play has been so poor. Like Taylor Cornelius, bad, just straight up bad. And then Seth Daggy, Jarrett Daggy. No, it's Jared Daggy. He was not good, but like their last game they just played, they finally put in Trey Ford, who played at Waterloo, and he fucking killed it. He was amazing, but of course they were going up against Winnipeg, so they ended up losing anyways at home. So they are now at 22 consecutive games lost at home
That's
at
I was
Commonwealth Stadium.
I will say this. I saw the Winnipeg highlights. Their quarterback, Winnipeg's quarterback, is a
Uh,
fucking monster.
yeah, Zach Caleros is
Yes.
very, very good.
He's like
And then he got hurt.
he's in the
And he
pocket,
got hurt.
just laser beaming these things down the middle of the field, taking massive hits. And I'm just kind of sitting there like, God damn! But like, just in the pocket, not fucking moving, just lasering these things all over the field. I'm watching the highlights, just like, who the fuck is this kid? Like, how have I never like, what?
He's like 35 too,
Oh
so
Jesus,
he's an old dude
he's an old man.
doing this. He's an old man. But yeah, he actually got hurt during that Edmonton game, and their backup Drew Brown came in. Dimes. He's throwing dimes all over the place, and they ended up winning the game because of it. So,
I
like,
was.
you hope that he's not hurt too bad because Caleros is kind of a star in this league,
I was gonna
and
say,
he
yeah.
was a writer for a little bit. But well, I'll tell you the story later. Uh, but yeah, the Riders they lost their starting QB to a really nasty knee injury, Trevor Harris. So, and now they just lost Mason Fine, who played at North Texas.
Oh, good,
Uh,
great.
so he's down. Now they're down to their 6'7" behemoth of a QB, Jake Dolegala, and Shea Patterson,
And Shea Patterson, Jesus Christ.
who has like I think he has a knee injury, so they haven't been using him for the next little while. I'm hoping he's okay by next week. So that maybe it will be Shea time, and maybe Shea will be the future. Who knows? I'm hoping
Hmm.
so. It
Um,
sure would be nice.
I was this. I'm on the BC site and I'm looking at the schedule, and I feel as bad seeing it's like week 1 BC 25 Calgary 15, week 2 BC 22 Edmonton. There's not even a score listed. They didn't even put 0. They just left it blank. Like it's that
Yeah,
feels bad, but then it feels bad because you scroll down and then it's there again in week 8. And there's no score.
yeah.
They just left it blank. That's I don't know which is worse, seeing a goose egg or seeing a blank. I don't know which one would be worse.
It's like they couldn't even be bothered to put a 0 there.
Yeah, right. It's like,
That's
oh man,
disrespectful.
oh god, I couldn't fucking imagine. But
Yeah.
all right. So if you had to talk someone into the CFL, if you had to like try to talk someone into, it's like, hey, look, I think I think you'd like the CFL. This is the CFL. If you had to do kind of a little thing like that, what would you? How would you do it? How would you talk an American into watching the CFL?
I think it is a little bit of an uphill battle because even here in Canada, there is a growing problem and a sentiment among a lot of football fans that they don't care for the CFL.
Wow.
They just don't care. Like I'm like the only one in my job that even like really remotely cares a whole lot. And one of my coworkers has friends who plays for the Calgary Stampeders. So
Wow.
and even he doesn't care. He's a Niners guy. He's like, it's a farm league. It doesn't matter. It's all that, and it's been called Bush League forever. And I just don't know what the problem is because like I'm a big supporter of domestic leagues. You
Mm.
should support your local league. And it's been this growing sentiment, but I can only think back to the days where it was must see TV. Every week you had some big time names in the CFL who were, they were engaging. They felt like they were part of the community. They do a lot with the community, and the play the play has always been good. It's been getting better recently, because there was kind of a point where scoring was kind of down, and they made some changes that they kind of had to make. They moved the hash marks more in, so plays aren't always like you're 50 yards away trying to get the ball to a slant, and all of a sudden it's a pick six all the time. So
the people in the crowd on that side are like, "The fuck's going on over there?"
what's happening there? But I think back to the good days, and I see like some of the players that are playing right now, like Vernon Adams and Chad Kelly, Zach Caleros, and just all the guys out there that this is for a lot of guys, this gives them a chance to find their way into the NFL. This gives them the opportunity. Like Warren Moon isn't a Hall of Famer if he doesn't go to Edmonton and win 4 Grey Cups.
Fair. Yeah, fair.
Like there's Doug Flutie doesn't get an opportunity because he's too short, and he became the greatest CFL quarterback of all time.
That's wild.
Like, there's a reason why the CFL exists, and it gave opportunity to a lot of guys that deserved it. It is one of the first places that black quarterbacks got an opportunity to be quarterbacks. I have a book on it.
Yeah, I remember reading about that when I was in college. Because I was reading a bunch of different stuff about just football in general, and I remember reading that. That's awesome.
CFL is the land of opportunity.
Yeah.
And you see guys out there, they're giving it everything they got.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not getting paid the best. Some of these guys work jobs in the offseason to make ends meet.
There's a couple guys that I've seen where it's like they went and they played for either like they played for like the AAF or the not the AFL. There was another one. There was the AAF, and there was like another league at some point that was out there in America. Yeah. But I remember like a couple of players being like, it's like, oh, are you gonna go to this other one, like the XFL or the USFL? They're like, are you gonna come back from the CFL to come play for these guys? And they're like, we actually get paychecks here on time. It may not be much, but at least we're fucking getting them, And I'm sitting there like, I remember hearing that, and I'm just like,
yeah,
that hurts, And it's,
that's.
So I wonder then if it's a similar thing, and I'll word it like that. It's a similar thing to kind of like soccer in America.
Mm-hmm.
Soccer in America really isn't shit. Not a whole lot of people that I know actually give 2 shits about soccer in America, other than people who grew up with soccer in America, and they try to make it a bigger thing than it is. Right? But I wonder if it feels kind of like that, because in Europe, soccer is the shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
In America,
around the world,
yeah, right. I mean, like in America, football is the thing, and it's like you talk about farm leagues. It's like, well, we have the XFL and the USFL, and like we just said, like they're both right after the NFL season, and then one of them is during the CFL season, and then you also have the NFL starting up during the CFL season. So it almost like the CFL doesn't even really get a chance to be like its own thing now. Like this is our block almost,
Yeah.
Because that was one of the big ones with the XFL. At the very end of the XFL season, the USFL started, and it was one of those things where it was interesting because every week on Monday, me and Rob would go look at the numbers to go see how the different things did, right? So it's kind of, I wonder if it's a little bit of that too, just the fact that one football. Whenever people think about American football, it's American football, right? Like that sort of thing. Like they always go to the main 32, but now even when you think off of that, now the XFL and the USFL are pushing themselves so hard to be like the spring leagues that like it's now kind of pushing the CFL out a little bit more even.
It used to be the only game in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be like that, and then other leagues start coming in, and that was always a big worry. And when the XFL their first go around, a lot of the players from the CFL got picked up from them.
Yep.
Like they poached a lot of players, coaches, and stuff. Like I believe it wasn't Jim Pop. It might have. Whoever won the XFL their first ever season was coached by a CFL coach.
Yeah.
Uh, and they had a bunch, like I believe Jermaine Copeland was on that championship team. I remember those days, and like it kind of got bad for a little bit there, but
Mm.
then XFL went away,
Went,
unfortunately.
went away for a little bit, yeah.
They came back, and I think we're starting to see a little bit more parity between all these leagues. They're trying to work it out.
Yeah.
And I think really, if the CFL wants to, keep its place, I think they need to at least give a lot of these guys the opportunity, and really all these leagues, like the XFL, the USFL, the CFL, should be kind of working together in a way that gives the players opportunities to, maybe as soon as the CFL season is done, they get their workouts with the NFL
Mm.
over the winter and all that, and the XFL season starts before the CFL season. Why not give some of those guys an opportunity to have a contract
Oh,
with
yeah.
an XFL team and at least get a chance to get a paycheck?
I
Because
mean,
even if they don't make the team, they still have an option to go back to the CFL.
and that's the thing is that like that's the thing we're seeing this year. The big one being Ben DeNutte. Ben DeNutte was like the quarterback for the XFL this year, and he has been picked up by Denver.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things where it's like he there's a good chance he makes their roster. Hakeem Butler, the wide receiver for the Battlehawks, he is with the Steelers right now, and I don't think he got a whole lot of looks in the first preseason game, but like it was one of those things where like you're watching the game and you're like, there he is, there's Butler, it's like so like you're seeing a couple of these guys, but then you get, I think the massive thing for the XFL that was a massive boost for them was it was like week 2 or 3, AJ McCarron talking with his kids after the game. And they asked him, like, it's like, well, why are you here? Why aren't you being a backup? Like, you easily could be a backup on any NFL team. And he goes, because I don't want to be I want to play. My kids,
Yeah.
my kids want to see me play. So here I am, and I love being here. I love being a Battlehawk. I love doing this. So it's. I think like that especially has helped the XFL. We're seeing a lot of players in the XFL, in the NFL now. I think there's at least 50 players total on rosters. Same thing with the USFL. There's a bunch of USFL players on rosters too now. I think Alex McGaw, I think is his name. I'm probably butchering his last name. The quarterback that won the whole thing, and he was the stud of the USFL. He's with the 49ers, I think, if I remember correctly. So, like, we're seeing a lot of these guys kind of going over, and then, like, the USFL has a deal with the NFLPA. The XFL has a deal with something with the NFL. So like we're starting to see a little bit of crossover between some of these things.
Yeah.
The XFL is doing combines where coaches and players can come and watch other players like try out, and they actually announced they're doing a 5-year deal with the Arena Football League. So at the end of every Arena Football League, if you want to come try out for the XFL, you come to this one combine that is only for AFL players. I was like, that's the coolest fucking thing.
That's great. That's great, and that's another thing. You got the AFL coming back, and that I'm looking forward to that because that's some of the funnest football out there is the Arena Football League.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how Kurt Warner got his start and all that when he finished college. We've all heard the story of him bagging groceries and then becoming the NFL MVP a few years later.
And a bunch of us have seen the really bad movie with Zachary Levi playing as him.
I did not watch that movie because I knew it was gonna be dog.
My favorite thing that my buddy said was like, he's like, it takes place over like from college all the way to like him being in the pros, and he's like, and he stays the same age. He looks the same the entire time. And I'm sitting there like, it's like, well, yeah, you're gonna do that, but like at the same time, okay,
yeah. But going back to like the whole like guys getting the opportunity to play in the NFL, like you saw it last night with Nathan Rourke down in Jacksonville, the incredible play he pulled off against the Cowboys. He's literally getting sacked, but he plants his feet and throws a strike. And he was doing that with BC last year.
Yeah, see, that's beautiful. See, I didn't know that. I didn't know that he was with BC last year. So seeing that is awesome. Yeah, no. When I saw that play and the highlights of him, just I was like, breaks out of a double sack as he's getting sacked. Somehow has the strength to plant his feet, beam it down the field, and then fall down to a knee. I'm just sitting there like, all right, kid just showed up. All right, this is awesome.
How did you do that, man?
And it's one of those things.
Canadian
It's like,
QB who played in Ohio
it's
for the Bobcats.
it's one of those things. I've always said that more football is better because it makes better competition. It can water down the product, and we have seen that in the NFL, especially in certain years. You see that. I think that honestly, I would say that if the CFL didn't do 20 weeks as well, that might also benefit to an extent. You would have less people getting hurt, right? It allows for a little bit more, I don't want to say structure, because that's not the right word that I'm thinking of in my brain hole. But it's the same thing with the NFL when they talk about adding more weeks and adding more games and this and that, and it's like, well, they were already removed a preseason game, so it's like you have 3 preseason games and then you have your bye week basically. Then you go into the season. So it's kind of it's an interesting thing that they did that, but then they picked up a regular season game, and it comes down to fucking money. They don't give a shit about the players, but
yeah,
it would be. I think that'd be an interesting one to see. Because like I've been saying recently that like I would love to see the XFL go to 10 teams, but I would also like to see the USFL fold, because they're like the way that they, I watched the USFL for one entire season, and then I watched the XFL for one entire season, and I liked the XFL more than I did the USFL. In one season, boom boom, between the two of them, I liked them more. And my thing was this: that like if you almost merged the two, but instead made it 10 teams. So you have the North, the South divisions, 10 teams. Just fold a bunch of those teams, but then take 2 of them, bring them right over, and just go from there. Envelop all the players into the league, have them spread out between all the different teams, like that sort of thing. It would make the league stronger, but then also it wouldn't be one of those things where it's like, oh, well, there's the XFL, there's the USFL, there's the AFL, there's the NNL, there's the BFL, there's the EFL, there's the CFL, there's the NCAAF, there's the... Eventually, it's too much, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, it's too much. So that's my big one, right?
Hey, you feel like adding Canadian college football to that?
Nope, I'm not. No, you've got me.
Actually,
you have got me in the CFL.
I've gotta say,
all right.
I've gotta say though, it's Canadian college football. U Sports is some great football. Some of the best CFL games I've ever watched were college games. Like the Vanier Cup, I think it was 2011 between McMaster and Laval. It's one of the greatest games I've ever fucking seen, dude. It is insane, some of the games. So maybe I'll send you a couple things and you can be like, oh wow, damn.
You've started to get me into the CFL. Like let's not push too far
Baby
now.
steps.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
We're still, I still haven't watched an entire CFL game. I've just seen highlights on YouTube. So.
Which I definitely do have a game I want to send you. I definitely want to watch this with you. But that's for another day.
But yeah, I think that's that wraps up CFL, and yeah, I am thankful that you were able to come on today.
My pleasure, man.
Even
me.
I was gonna say, even with the joke of saying that you were the C option, you were always one of the main options. Like I said, first 2 people I thought of was you and Coop, and then I was just like, well, me and Coop talked about it last week, so it's only fair that I extend the hand to him first.
Oh yeah.
But I do appreciate you coming on. For everyone out there, I will leave a link down in the description for the man's, so you guys can go check him out. He streams. He does all sorts of fun stuff. It's always good times whenever you're in his stream. Is there anything that you want to say to the people who have made it this far somehow?
For one, if you're not already subscribed to Husky or supporting him in any way, shape, or form, what are you doing? You need to get on that. This is the hardest working man on the internet.
Appreciate it.
He gives Mr. Beast a run for his money because he is the Beast.
Yeah, I just don't get the money or the food like Mr. Beast does.
Or the fame,
Yeah.
the glory. But you know what? You get our respect.
I get the respect. I get the insomnia, the depression, the caffeine addiction.
Grinded. We're grinded, man.
all day, every day.
But yeah, besides that, you know, I've got a lot of irons in the fire. I just got into Blue Sky, so if you want to follow me there, check it out at hauntedthevagabond.bsky.social. God, they need to fix that at some point. Make it a little bit more compact. But if you want to follow me on more reputable things like Twitter, it's at Vagabond Haunted. Through there, you can find all the other stuff I do, like podcasts and like Pokemon Adventures in Millennium, which just recently came back. What do you mean that account doesn't exist? I need to go fix that. And besides that, I'm also building alongside my friend Tanner and my sister Lindsay. We are building an RPG about being in a band. So I'll tell you more about that when we get closer to that being a thing.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So
I'll definitely want to get you on then when that is closer down the pipeline. That'd be a fun one to talk about.
Oh yeah, dude. I love me some music and I love RPGs where we're gonna mix the two into a really fun social RPG.
Into a fun little baby.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see here. Let's see. Motivational quote. Let's end this with a motivational quote. What is your motivational quote for the people?
How
about that?
Motivational quote for the people. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it simple.
Okay.
Keep stepping.
Ooh, there we go. Okay, so for Haunted, it is Keep Stepping. For me, it is a very simple one. It is one that I've had as a shirt at one point, and then I had to remove it as a shirt because I got told it was inappropriate. And it's very simple as well. Mine is very simple as well. It is, don't be a cunt.
Don't be a cunt.
There you go. I don't know if I can make it any easier than that. But yet again, like I said, thank you, Haunted, for coming on the podcast this week. I really do appreciate it. And as always, depending on where you guys are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, still trouble. Stay safe, and we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Peace.